Hello and welcome back to the podcast that just thanks you for bearing with us this month. Welcome back to another episode of the Love, Death and Movies podcast, internet's #1 film breakdown and review show, the show that crushes watch lists week after week. Every month is a different genre, every week is a different film with this genre, so follow us and everything John's the right, let's watch the movies. I'm killing it now.
You are.
No one is close to where I'm at
I'm
now,
fine.
Ash. How are you, Ash? Final episode of the year. How are you?
I'm about the same as I was an hour ago. I'm doing good. I'm happy.
Well, so nothing's gone downhill since then?
I don't think so, except for just, Final Destination. The fourth one, the movie itself was obviously not a highlight of the last hour, but everything else was great.
It's crazy because we're about to talk about Final Destination 5 and it's like night and day in terms of quality.
100%.
This one, it's not a great movie, don't get me wrong. This one movie is just fucking so much better.
Yes.
Than number 4. 4 was tough to get through, but we are talking about Final Destination 5, directed by Stephen Quayle. I don't know what he's done before, but quick synopsis: death has never been closer. Death is just as omnipresent as ever, and is unleashed after one man's premonition saves a group of co-workers from a terrifying suspension bridge collapse. But this group of unsuspecting souls was never supposed to survive, and in a terrifying race against time, the ill-fated group frantically try to discover a way to escape death's sinister agenda. So budget, again, was $40 million. Box office, a little higher, this time $160 million. That might be off the back of decent reviews. And word of mouth to kind of get that bit of an extra. But what is your opinion about Final Destination 5, Ash, to end off the month of Final Destinations?
I thought that I had not seen this one ever because you kept talking about the ending. Remember, I didn't remember what you were talking about.
Such a good ending.
Yeah, it is. And so I still didn't remember the ending until it happened. But I have seen this once before because once it started, I was like, oh, okay, I remember I remember that. So I definitely had remembered bits and pieces of it. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting to go into this one after the fourth one, kind of like, all right, whatever, let's just get this over with. And I was like, no, this is cool. This is some of the best kills. The CGI is not great. I mean, it was
way better than 4.
But yes, it's better than 4. And it still was it was average CGI for 2011. Yeah. So I can't necessarily say it's a negative of the movie. But yeah, I thought that the lead was much better. Nicholas DaCosta was much better than
he was in Fired Up. Remember Fired Up?
Yes, I do remember Fired Up, and I was actually laughing because he was on the bus, and obviously in Fired Up they go on the bus to the cheer camp. But yeah, I think that most of the other cast besides him is pretty forgettable, but I do think he has a better lead than the last movie. And I like Tony Todd's role that he has here.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Addition.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. But yeah, I really love the story here. They did some different things. They have some fun with it. They take some different turns with it. And you kind of find out why they kind of do something fresh with it when you get to the end and everything's kind of full circle. So I think it's a really smart way to do this franchise. I think because the fourth one was so bad, I don't know if this person who wrote this was like, we should do a fifth one and redeem ourselves from how bad that one was. Because it feels like they took everything from all the other movies that worked and just really did it, which I appreciate. And I don't love the bridge collapse as a big catastrophe, but it does feel more realistic than a raceway.
Yeah, it's I agree with you. I don't think it's the best opening accident, but I liked it a hell of a lot more than the raceway. Yeah, yes. I thought it was really cool. It kind of felt like video game-esque.
Yes.
Surviving a disaster. But yeah, I agree. I think this might be my favorite Final Destination, to be honest. I think it is. I think it definitely is. This movie is just fun. It goes back to what makes this the fun aspects of this franchise again. The deaths are cool. The characters are fun as well. Finally, it's this movie and Final Destination 3 are the only ones that you actually give a shit about any of the characters.
That's so true. Actually, did you think that Peter looked like Tom Cruise? Because I did.
Yes, big time. I didn't like Peter. Peter sucked. The entire film. His motivations make no sense, but it is what it is. But yeah, I really like this film. I think I don't love it. I don't love any of these movies, to be honest, after watching them again. They're good fun. They are what they are. Mm-hmm. This franchise is dumb fun. Can't wait for the next one next year. It'll be hilarious when that one comes out. And after the movie called The Final Destination, there's 2 more movies. I think that's pretty fun. But let's get into it, Ash. All right? Okay.
All right.
The film opens up with a bunch of workers who are gathering together for a company retreat. Sam has prepared breakfast before the bus ride, which is adorable. Sam is a fellow office worker and a short order cook. His best friend Peter is awaiting everyone else's arrival for the trip. Molly, Sam's girlfriend, arrives, and she then breaks up with him straight away due to his dreams of going to Paris to be an apprentice to his mentor because he's a chef. And chefs go to France, I guess. I think that's true, though. A lot of chefs go to France.
He's a chef / office worker?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Sam is hurt by Molly's decision, which is a wild thing to do just before the trip starts, by the way.
Yeah.
Wild thing. Meanwhile, Peter's girlfriend Candace is an intern for the company and a gymnast. We'll get back to the gymnast in a bit. That sounded weird, you know what I mean. When you see the movie, you know what I mean. Comes along with her rival, Olivia Castle, a clad-dressed office girl. Molly is being hit on by Isaac, a co-worker and womanizer. Sam, by the way, Isaac doesn't look like a womanizer. Doesn't look like he should be a womanizer. Straight up. Sam then goes to the construction wing of the building to find his friend Nathan, a supervisor who has a hard time of dealing with construction workers. A construction worker named Roy. There's just too many names. I know. We'll get through it. I'll remind everyone throughout it. Nathan and Sam regroup and head towards the bus to get to their destination. Lol. As the bus heads up to the bridge, Sam notices the road construction is rather suspicious. Yeah, they're just drilling holes or cutting holes in the fucking bridge. That's a great idea.
It doesn't feel super realistic as far as how they're doing the construction.
Yeah, fuck them. He begins to have weird feelings while on the bus. The bus is stopped by a traffic operator, and the bridge starts to crack. The workers get off the bus. I wrote this. Forgive me. The group gets off first. Candace is trapped when chunks of the road fall into the lake below. She hangs on to the railing of the bridge of the side, but the railing detaches, sending her and impaling herself onto a fucking yacht. Classic. The group panics as the bridge gets worsened by the second. Isaac, who is taking a call in the bathroom and doesn't hear anyone screaming or feel an earthquake, is still on the bus, and the bus is sent crashing into the lake. He's dead, sending Isaac to the windshield and is crushed and drowned on impact. A crack in the middle of the bridge kills multiple people. Only a pair of support beams are the way to get from one side to the other side to safety. Sam helps Molly over and she makes it across. Sam tries to help Olivia, but she loses her glasses and falls into the lake. Ciao, Olivia. The glasses fall into the lake. Olivia's still alive. She's in the lake. Sorry, forgive me. This fucking franchise, man. And a car comes falling down, crushing her. There we go. See ya, Olivia. There we go. Nathan tries to reach Sam, but the wires supporting the bridge detach, and one flings across the bridge and kills him. See ya, Nathan. The company boss, Dennis, who's played by... what's his name?
Dave Keckner.
Champ as well. Champ from Anchorman.
Well, Dave Keckner's the actor's name, but yes.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great. He's in The Office for a couple episodes.
Mm-hmm.
He's sent over the edge of the bridge, but he hangs on in a take of hot tar. Good thing that's there. Spills over and burns Dennis's flesh off, sending him to fall into the lake with the rest of the debris. Peter catches the sustained part of the railing of the bridge, and Sam does the same. Molly panics as she watches the two. The truck beside her with a metal slider is full of construction rods. The slider falls off. Rods impale Peter, ciao Peter, through the face, and he falls off onto the cement of the bridge below, below the it doesn't matter. He's dead. The slider then continues to fall forward, slicing Sam into two. When Sam comes to, he sees that he's still alive. Again, this is a premonition. Oh my god, everyone's died in all these different ways. And he gets Molly off the bus. Peter, Candace, Olivia, Nathan, Isaac, and Dennis all follow. The bridge begins to collapse and Sam rushes all of his friends to safety. The group looks surprised and confused at how Sam knew that this accident was going to happen. During the company funeral, hilarious company funeral. Just straight up, if I died on a company trip, I'm not getting buried next to my fucking co-workers. During the company funeral, William Bloodworth, a local coroner played by Tony Todd, is present, and he warns the group that death is after them. They all ignore his warnings and move on with their lives. Sam and Molly reconcile later that night.
FYI, the girl, Molly, the actress that plays her, she was given nothing. I wasn't getting anything from Molly. I really liked the guy. I think he was a much better actor than her. So when they were together, it was like very obvious.
One-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything to add about the beginning of this film? The kind of beginning accident.
Yeah, no, and I think the aspect of it being a work trip is interesting
That's cool.
because
It's because it's always been high school shit.
yeah, or high school, or even like people who are like the pilot, they don't know each other. So I like that it's a company, so they know each other, but they don't really know each other like the same way you would know like maybe
Yeah.
some fellow students. So it's an interesting dynamic. I like it. Yeah, I think most of the main characters are like interesting enough, like they're not forgettable like the prior movie. I kind of knew like once I saw Olivia lose her glasses on the bridge, I was like, okay, she's gonna die in some way that involves her eyes. I just know it. Like one way or another,
Oh
that's
yeah.
gonna be
How
involved
she dies is
somehow.
pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah, it's actually really hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but yeah, I think it's a good opening. Honestly, my favorite part of the opening of this movie is the opening credits. Do you
Oh,
notice
so
how they
cool.
go through all the different items and things that cause death throughout all the four movies?
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
thought
And
that
I
was
also
really
love
cool.
the ending of this movie where they go through like the montage. There's just so many great things here. This almost feels like a love letter to like the Final Destination franchise or something.
Yeah. Exactly. No, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, I like this opening. I like this opening a hell of a lot more than the last one. I think yeah, it's all the other ones have been like pile ups or like something exploding or like the roller coaster, etc. But this one feels like a grand scale,
Hmm.
which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that all the characters are pretty cool. I thought all the way that all the different ways that they die during the opening thing, I thought was really sick. Like different unique ways. The fucking construction shit coming off the truck, I thought was awesome.
The
All
tar was pretty brutal too.
the tar was gnarly, wasn't it? Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, I think it's a great little opening compared to as well.
Yeah.
So the next day, Candace is with Peter at her gymnastics practice. This is fucked up. And he cheers her on. Candace does some work on the balance beam, and a screw from a malfunctioning AC unit falls onto the beam, sharp side up. Candace does some close calls with the screw, but it never injures her. Candace then does some vault work, which is on the pole, the horizontal pole, and you do you fucking do the
Hmm.
flips.
Spin.
Yes, that's the word I'm thinking of. Thank you, spin. She's flipping while a fan set up by one of her coaches is turned on. Another girl on the beam does a routine and she lands on the screw, impaling her foot, knocking over a pit full of powder. The powder is blown into the arena. Candace loses her sight. She flips, accidentally letting go, landing on her neck, causing her spine and knee to pop through her skin. Sam consoles a depressed Peter. So that is see ya to Candace. Ciao, ciao. The next day, the group is all together at their workplace and they start drinking to relax. Isaac is going through the dead co-worker's desk because that's great. And he comes across a gift card to a Chinese massage parlor. Isaac arrives flirting with many of the women, but is taken care of by an old Chinese woman who speaks English, but simply refuses to speak to Isaac. Good decision. She later does acupuncture on him and leaves him in the room. As soon as he does acupuncture, you know exactly what's going to happen, right?
Oh, gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, and leaves the room in where the walls are soundproof. Why? No
Hmm.
idea. As Isaac rolls on over his bed, the leg of it caves in and sending him to the ground, pushing the needles into his body. He's staggering to get up, puts a bottle of alcohol, but a bottle of alcohol causes a fire from a candle. Candle falling after Isaac's phone vibrates. There we go. Sorry, I wrote this so poorly. And knocks over the candle. Isaac avoids the contained fire, but he waits against a wall, and a shelved Buddha falls and crushes his head.
So funny.
Classic Chow Isaac. Bloodworth, who's been present at all the deaths so far, is there and tells the remaining survivors that there is another way to avoid death. There would be that they would have to kill someone to gain their remaining days on Earth. Peter reveals the idea. Revels in the idea to where it makes him crazy. Agent Jim Block is covering the case as Sam and his friends, but he finds all the deaths hard to believe. Is there anything to kind of add on here before we get into the sweet eye surgery? I think the death of Isaac's kind of cool. The acupuncture stuff's pretty sick. And then the Buddha is pretty cool. But I just love the inclusion of Tony Todd. He's becoming way, way, way more like a central character, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I
Central
think
side
that
character.
the acupuncture Buddha falling on him is a perfect combination. I think it's hilarious. I mean, when he's just like thinks he's in the clear and then it just falls right on his head and smashes it. I think it's so funny.
It's so good.
And he definitely deserves it. But yeah, poor Candace. That was actually probably one of my top deaths of this franchise. We'll get into it obviously later during our draft, but I thought that was a pretty cool one. Just because like the way they were toying with the screw and you kept thinking she was gonna stop. I think that was a great example of how to do a like, is she going to? Is she not going to? Like,
Yeah.
movies have kind of failed at that, but this one felt like a very natural like build up to her death. It wasn't too long, but it was also enough to where you didn't really quite know when it was going to happen. So I really enjoyed that one. And obviously Peter having to witness it is brutal. I think that was the beginning of his villain arc for
It's
sure.
fucking weird villain arc. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think you're right about Tony Todd. And what I think is interesting is that once you know the ending, you kind of can like more so see why he's telling them what he's telling them. Like instead of saying you have to intervene, he's saying you can kill somebody. That's different than all the other movies from
Yeah.
what he's told the people. So I feel like it's interesting once you know that this is actually the beginning of it all.
And then
It's
like,
cool.
because yeah, in the first film, you're like, he literally is like, you can't escape this.
Exactly. He knows now what is going to happen, but in this one they're kind of all like playing with this idea. This is the first time it's happened maybe, so they don't really know
Yeah.
what is gonna, come next. But
Such a,
yeah, I think it's a cool way to kind of incorporate him into the movie.
yeah, hell yeah. So Olivia goes to get eye surgery the same day, and the doctor straps her head into place. Olivia is fearful, holding a teddy bear, classic. And then the doctor puts in the tools to keep her eyes open. She rips one of the eyes off her bear. I think that's a little foreshadowing. Olivia is told by the doctors to wait, but the glass of the water that Olivia placed on the water cooler drips down, classic, onto the outlet, causing a short circuit and laser machine malfunction, and it completely overheats. Olivia reaches for the remote control in panic. It drops to the floor, and the button is beginning, and the button to begin surgery is pressed, I guess. The laser slices her eye open. The laser goes off on a few more times and it burns through her hand and scars her face, and she then escapes the machine. Sam and Molly and the doctor run in to see a scarred Olivia, and she trips over the teddy bear's eye. She falls through the window onto a parked car, falls off, and her eye rolls away to get run over by a car. Great. Great.
Absolutely iconic. And I love that she doesn't actually die from the eye surgery. It's like from falling out of a window.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the precursor. It's just like, here we
Yeah.
go. So Nathan is working in construction and he's talking to Roy, who's the co-worker that he is having trouble with, an angry employer of his. Nathan immediately sees a beam moving closer to him with hooks under it. Nathan urges Roy to move, but he accidentally pushes him backwards as the hook falls, and Roy is stopped by landing on the spikes below. And Roy is stopped from landing on the spikes below. Nathan then sees that Roy is actually impaled by the hook through his head. So Roy's dead. Ciao, Roy. As the group comes closer, Peter finds that Nathan accidentally killed Roy, taking his days and skipping him in death's design. Meanwhile, as Dennis grills them, a wrench that Roy placed on the machine is twisted into Dennis's face the long way. So just like spins, shoots into his face, and it goes like full long. I love that death. Both those two, all three of those deaths are great. This movie's fucking decent compared to the others. Later that night in Lee Miro 81, which is the restaurant that Sam works for, the cafe that Sam works for, his mentor lets him become an apprentice in Paris. He also lets Sam have the restaurant for the night to spend it with Molly, because that's a thing. Peter crashes the dinner and he tells the story of how he tried to push a woman in front of a truck to steal her life. Peter admits that he couldn't do such an act, but he then ponders Candace's death and how she didn't deserve to die, but yet Molly supposedly survived in Sam's vision. Peter then tries to kill Molly. Molly takes action in the kitchen, and Sam takes refuge in the kitchen, and Sam fights off Peter before Agent Brock is shot by Peter, taking his years. The struggle leads to a gun that is placed on a burning stove, but as Peter is about to kill Molly, Sam stabs him through the back with a large skewer. Then Sam ponders whether this means that he now has the Agent Brock years that he bought away. So anything before we go into the ending of the film, anything to add here? These films are so easy to glaze through, by the way.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused at first with Nathan because I guess it makes sense you're saying that he killed somebody, so he therefore gets like skipped. But then I'm not sure that logic ends up like
It doesn't.
lasting.
That's what they.
So
It's just that they think that.
yeah, they think, but I guess is my question is it enough to skip him then? Because Nathan doesn't end up going until the end. So I guess it must just basically skip them temporarily.
Yeah, I
Maybe it's
think
kind of like
it skips
intervening.
them to the end of the order. Is kind of
Yeah, it's
how I
like
see it.
intervening temporarily, basically. So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing really to add here. I think that um Roy was kind of like whatever. Like he didn't seem like a very good guy. So I guess rest in peace. Um, the hook is pretty gnarly though. And then
Hook
yeah, as
is
far
crazy.
as the Peter, Molly, Sam dinner fight, the whole thing, it's definitely feels a bit different than the rest of the franchise, which I appreciated. Like just the idea of the three of them kind of getting into like this little like battle in the kitchen, and then there's like a cop involved. It felt very fresh as far as like an idea in one of these movies. So I liked it, but
Oh yeah.
I was happy to see Peter go. He was kind of freaking out there. I think he
Yeah.
lost his mind.
Tom Cruise's cousin. Yeah, he sucks. Yeah, ciao ciao.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie's pretty damn solid. But like, to get to the end, 2 weeks later, Sam and Molly are boarding a plane to Paris because they keep talking about they're going to Paris, and he's going to Paris for the apprenticeship. And she asks for the window seat. As they're boarding, a group of high schoolers fight as a kid is kicked off with several students and a teacher during takeoff. Sam overhears a kid that claims he had a vision that the plane was going to explode. Sam freaks out as he looks at the plane, and it reads Flight 180. The plane begins to explode as the kid revealed as Alex Browning the plane begins to explode as the kid revealed as Alex Browning predicted from the first film. Molly is sucked out of the side and is cut into two by the wings of the plane. And the rest of the plane catches fire, burning Sam to death. As the plane goes down in flames, a flame engulfs an entire engine, and the engine and the is it a wheel or an engine falls off? It's an engine, right? It's one of the side
Mhm.
engines. Nathan is in a local bar and he's talking to a guy who reveals that Roy would have died in the next few days after his actual death involving the hook because he was ill. He had like some blood clot or something. Nathan is worried as the guy walks away saying life is a bitch, and then a flaming landing gear from Flight 180 crashes through the bar, crushes Nathan to death, ultimately revealing the film is a prequel to the events of the original Final Destination. To me, one of the greatest movie endings of all time. Just comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's like, oh,
Mhm.
this whole thing's a prequel, and it leads up to the
Mhm.
beginning of the first film. Love it. So I give this movie a 3.5. I think this movie is very enjoyable. I think this movie is the best of the series. It has some of the best deaths in the series, and I like the characters. I think it's very unique. It's fun, and it goes back to the original shit in the first couple of films that makes the movies fun. 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
Ash, what do you
love it.
have to
I also
say?
gave it 3.5. I still think I would put it 3.15,
Okay,
2.4,
that's fair. That's fair.
but
I
that's just
think
based
there's a
on
big gap
attachment.
between top three and bottom two.
Agreed. That's where I'm like, yeah, the third one or the second one definitely I think deserves more like a 2 to 2.5 star. I think the pile up does not make it hold up enough now that we've watched all five of them. But anyways, yes, I agree with everything you said. I think this one is just really fun and fresh. I love, like I said, the opening from the opening to the final, like showing all the different scenes from all the movies. It just feels like someone who had a lot of love for these movies, maybe, and just like really wanted to make one final one for now, I guess.
One final
Uh,
ride.
to just kind of like say like yeah, we love what Final Destination really should have always been, from a couple of these films, and then yeah, turning it back around to a prequel. It's fun once you know it's a prequel too, because you start noticing like, oh, the fashion seemed a little off, and they didn't have modern cell phones, which you would have had in 2011. Like it makes sense, like it kind of ends up fitting like, oh, this was actually set in 2000,
Yeah.
not in 2011. um which is just, yeah, it's just such a fun concept. And yeah, they add some freshness to it while still keeping with what people love about the first one, I think, and the third one. Um, nice, tight, like 90-minute movie still, but like you get a lot more story in there. It's a lot more memorable. Some of the best deaths in the franchise, including the LASIK surgery and the
Gymnast.
gymnastics practice. So,
Yep.
yeah, I definitely think this is a very fun one. I can see myself rewatching the first, third, and the fifth one, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And skipping the next, the 2 and 3 and 2 and 4.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that is the end of Final Destination month. Next month, we're going into January, New Year. We're doing the month of chill. We've done the month of sweat. We're doing the month of chill. So we've got 4 films that all have to takes place within snowy locations. First up, we've got Wind River. Then we've got John Carpenter's The Thing. Then we've got The Hateful Eight. And then we're finishing it off with Fargo. Good month. That's 4 solid fucking great movies, which I can't wait. But until then, we're going to a quick draft, and this is the end of the Final Destination film. So we're going to draft each 5 of our favorite deaths in this series, because this whole series is kind of surrounding like unique and fun deaths, which is good fun. But
Question: are we doing just the deaths of like their true real deaths, or are we also including the premonition
I
deaths?
reckon the true real deaths, the premonition deaths, because like that could be the 5. I think the post premonition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they've survived and how they die. Because
Perfect.
like you could easily be like the log going through the cars.
That's
and
what I
stuff.
was asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same thing. Ash, because it's the final episode of the year, you can go first.
Oh, you're so kind. Okay. Well, my first pick is probably pretty predictable. I've already talked about this being my favorite of all the movies, and that's The Tanning Bed.
Yeah, that's good. That's a
Ashley
damn good one.
Death. Has my name in it too, so that helps. But I just think it's so iconic. It's what I think of when I think of, a death in one of these movies. So classic with the best song playing in the background. Just 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Oh man, damn! I thought that might have accidentally skipped you, but no, that's fair enough.
Nope.
Nope. I am going to go the LASIK surgery in
Yeah.
FT5. I think that's just so iconic. I was going to call it eye surgery, FT5.
Eye surgery / window falling.
/ window falling.
All right.
That's pretty good.
We're only doing 5, right?
Yeah, just 5.
Okay. Let's see. I think because I have to get one from the 5th one, I'm going to take the gymnastics. I think that one's so brutal.
I was tossing up between the 2, to be honest.
Yeah, they're both really good. All right.
55. Last one. I'm going to be confident to say that we're not going to pick anything from the 4th film.
Probably not.
I'm going to go Final Destination 2, the barbed wire slicer.
Isn't that Rory?
That's, Rory. Yeah.
Okay.
I fucking love that.
Barbed wire slicing. Yeah, that one is brutal because it's like flying through the air and then it just like chops him up into a bunch of pieces.
I love that.
Actually, I'm going to go with one from the 2nd movie as well, but I'm going to go with Brian getting blown up by the grill at the end.
Oh, so how did I forget that?
It's so good.
That's the best one. That is a great one.
His arm lands on the mom's plate.
FT2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That is a good one. There's another one in FT2 that I kind of want, but I'll leave that for a second. Maybe I do Sean William Scott in the first Final Destination.
Yep. Billy getting his head sliced off.
Yeah.
That was definitely on my list as well. It's one of the more brutal ones, I think, from the
first. It is. It's the one that like really started the violence.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to like have variety, but I'm also just like I don't care about variety. I'm gonna go with what I think is the best.
You go whatever you want.
I think I'm gonna go with the Aaron nail gun. I think
Damn
that
it!
Very
that was my next one. Damn.
I'm sorry.
I loved that nail
really
gun.
Good.
That's FT3, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Damn it! I thought I had that lined up. Well done.
Like you're forgetting one that you mentioned to me was one of your favorites.
Oh, really?
From the 3rd movie.
The drive-through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be. I'll pick the drive-through. That's a good one.
Frankie's fan. Frankie's fan. That's what I'm calling it.
Frankie's fast food. Nice.
But it's like, as much as I want to take one from the 1st movie, I think there's just like better deaths.
I think the only good one in the 1st movie compared to everything else is the Billy getting his head sliced off.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just because like we've talked about, they get more violent and like hilarious as they go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for my final one, I'm gonna go back to the second movie and I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
take
don't do
Kat
it.
getting impaled in the car with the pipe in her head. Was that your
That was my last one. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's so good because she's like having a fight with the guy that's trying to save her.
Can you put it on quiet mode?
Damn, that was really good. Well done. Okay. Gymnastics done. So this is the last one. So I could do Valerie in the first Final Destination where everything fucking goes wrong for her. That's the teacher. I thought that was pretty
You
funny.
could also go with the drain sucking his body out, you know?
I don't think I will because they don't show much in that. You
I
know.
know. Well, how could they? It'd be really grotesque.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? Because I thought no, here we go. Final Destination 3. Lewis getting his head smashed in by the
Oh,
workout
yeah.
machine. Yeah, there we go.
That's a good one. Nice. Do you have them all written down? Because I
Yeah.
do if you don't. Okay.
So, recapping, Ash, you had the tanning beds, Final Destination 3, the gymnastics kill, Final Destination 5, Brian Grill, surprise kill, Final Destination 2, the nail gun on Erin, which is Final Destination 3, and Cat getting impaled in Final Destination 2 in the car. And I had the eye surgery window falling out of Final Destination 5, the barbed wire sliced Rory, Final Destination 2, Billy getting his head sliced off in Final Destination 1, Frankie's fast food fan delivery, Final Destination 3, and Lewis getting his head caved in with the weights in Final Destination 3 as well. Final Destination 3 appeared a lot.
Had a lot of good. That was definitely some of the peak of the good deaths, I feel like.
For sure. Well, this was a shorter episode, but that's okay. This was the final episode of the year and final episode of the Final Destination. So again, please, next week, watch Wind River for the month of chill. I know I completely forgot to put out an Instagram post about Final Destinations. I will do the one for Wind River. No worries. So watch that. It'll be good fun. And yeah, we'll join you for next year, which is kind of
Merry
crazy.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, and yeah, have a safe year. Have a safe New Year's. Tell everyone that you love them. They'll need it. And yeah, say hi to your mum for me.
Get into 2024.
Yeah, and say hi to your mum for me. So have a good day. I'm Harry. That's Ash. This is Love Death Movies. We'll see the movies.